Hi guys, welcome to the Brazil Realpolitik channel. Before proceeding, please like and subscribe so we can continue with quality content about Brazilian politics. Today we're gonna talk about the case that may characterize a crime of corruption by Jair Bolsonaro, former president of Brazil. Check this video until the end to figure it out what's happening in Brazil. It all begun with an investigation into former President Jair Bolsonaro's attempt to bring to Brazil jewelry allegedly donated by the government of Saudi Arabia, worth $3.1 million without paying taxes. Bolsonaro tried to incorporate the jewels directly into his personal assets, and this could prove irregularities, which could lead him to prison, as well as other people involved. The law professor Eloísa Machado, from FGV, a respected Brazilian university, says that, if proven by investigations, the practice could constitute a crime of embezzlement. She states that the receipt of gifts by governments is regulated by different procedures and criteria. Open quotes, if in fact it was a gift to the Brazilian state, it could not be incorporated into the assets of a person who occupied the government, close quotes. With the misappropriation of a property belonging to the Brazilian state, Eloísa believes that Bolsonaro is committing a practice that could be considered criminal. The specialist also says that it is possible to glimpse, at least in theory, the crime of embezzlement. In the event that it is not a gift to the state, but a type of personal counterpart to the facilitation of business carried out, one can envision the practice of other crimes, such as corruption. However, Eloísa Machado believes that an investigation is capable of offering the necessary factual outlines for the correct legal framework. For her, there are indications that the procedures were disregarded and that there was an action by servants of the presidency of the Republic and ministries to circumvent regulatory requirements, evidence that is sufficient for an investigation to be carried out and deepened. The professor compliments that other investigations in progress against Jair Bolsonaro also deal with conduct that is not very Republican, whether in the electoral sphere with the use of the public machine in favor of his candidacy, or in common justice. Now you must be wondering, what is this story about jewelry, the former president of Brazil, those gifts, and Saudi Arabia government? Find out the chronology of events. In early March of this year, a problem emerged involving the seizure of jewelry valued at $3.1 million, with which former First Lady Michelle Bolsonaro would be presented. Supposedly sent by the government of Saudi Arabia, from which a delegation from the Ministry of Mines and Energy of Brazil was returning in October 2021, the items ended up withheld at customs because they had not been properly declared to the tax authorities. After the first report, from a big newspaper in Brazil, Estado de São Paulo, it became known that the minister at the time, Admiral Bento Albuquerque, also brought a second set of jewels from the country in the Middle East, which was destined for former President Jair Bolsonaro himself. In both cases, the pieces were from the company Chopard, a Swiss brand that is among the most famous and expensive of its kind in the world. A small parenthesis. The government of former President Jair Bolsonaro, who was a military, had more than 6,000 men in the armed forces. Not even during the period of military dictatorship in the country, which lasted from 1964 to 1985, were there so many nominations. The apprehension of the jewels by a civil servant led to a series of attempts by military personnel at the behest of the government to take the valuable items, including Admiral Bento Albuquerque, who tried to remove the jewels personally, but was unable to do so. The attempts followed one another until December 29, last year, shortly before the departure of Jair Bolsonaro from Brazil, on the eve of the end of his mandate. And then again. They failed to get the jewels. Hope you enjoyed the content. Now tell me, what is your opinion on these jewels of Saudi Arabia for Jair Bolsonaro? Leave your comment below and promote a quality debate, always respecting other people's opinions. For our channel to grow, press like, click on subscribe button and share. I see you on the next video. Bye.